All right, welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals, June 27th, 2023 meeting. This is a hybrid meeting, so if you're dialing in, use *6 to mute yourself and unmute yourself. And we are being taped by MCTV. So since Mark is out there, we're going to have to do a roll call to start.
Larry Keane here.
Brian Sullivan here.
Brian Murphy here.
Heidi Fowler here.
Mark Crowe here.
Thank you. And we'll start with 2345 Brian O'Callahan. The petitioner is seeking a variance in accordance with 305-1011 of the Marshfield Municipal Code. The relief on 305-602 dimensional and density regulations to construct a 10-foot by 12-foot shed on the property located at 29 Malden Avenue, which is identified on the assessor's maps as being parcel J110136 and is located in the R2 zoning district. Go ahead.
So basically, on the bottom right-hand corner on this picture, looking to get the 10 by 12 shed. It's going to be 5 feet off at each one of those property lines, and I think that front corner would be 4 feet from the septic.
Why do you need the variance?
Everywhere else seems like it should be in the middle of the yard if it's that far off the property line.
If you move it 5 feet, you don't need the variance.
5 feet which way?
Back and to the right. Or if you're looking at the shed, back, forward, and then to the left.
So if it's 10 feet from the lot line, you don't need the variance.
But then it's in the way of the septic.
Is the septic a mounded system?
No, but I was told that, I was told it has to be 10 feet off the septic as well.
Who told you that?
The Board of Health.
There are people that have driveways over their septic system.
So
You could
originally that's who drew that spot. The Board of Health.
Sorry, I totally get that, but no harm will befall your septic system or your home if you move the shed so that you don't need the variance. And I'm sorry that you got that advice. I understand, they're not in the business of giving zoning advice. We're not in the business of telling people where to put a septic system, but the reality is you're not going to harm your septic system by putting the shed. The dimensions of the shed are nominal, 10 by 12. Yeah, you're not going to harm the system at all. It's a subsurface system. It's not a mounded system. You will not harm the system by putting the shed there.
I'll move it 10 feet off each way. I was just
And the reason
told that.
I apologize. The reason that I'm telling you that is that you don't meet the standard for the granting of a variance. And this board, by law, could not legally give you the relief that you're seeking.
Well, we did do a variance on a shed in Plymouth Ave that was in the flood area. Kent Park had, it was a pretty
That was
flood
due to
area
flooding.
also, correct?
It was due to flooding.
I'm sorry.
The flood had an elevation, the yard had a flood elevation that actually flooded where the current shed was.
Is Kent Park below sea level down there?
Yes.
Not where this one is.
Pretty low.
Most of Kent Park is below sea level.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Does your yard get wet? Is that a location that would be the driest spot for your shed?
Honestly, I just bought the house, so determined to find out.
Yeah.
Something that's worth it.
Is there some reason you don't want it 10 feet over?
I'm fine with moving it. I just thought that it couldn't be on top of from talking to people here, it seemed like it couldn't be on top of the septic, but I'm totally fine with moving it another 5 feet each way to put it over the
I
septic.
mean, I could see how you would want it on top of the septic, but
Is the septic system new? Is it pretty new?
Not really.
Okay. Because I could see being concerned if you had to rip the system out, put a new system in. Could we continue, dismiss this without prejudice, or if you need to come back?
We can continue if you'd like, because honestly, but I don't want them to go waste money on an engineered plan.
Yeah.
Because that plan's no good for us. If he's not gonna get it, there's no,
if he
But if he
decided
can
to
just
move
come
it,
back and say he
yeah.
doesn't need it, if he decides to just go with what it
Yeah,
is.
do you want us to discontinue this? So if you
Yeah,
end up
if
needing
it's
it.
fine to go on top of the septic, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so we'll continue the meeting.
Ryan,
Yes?
this is Casey. Am I allowed to say anything or
Of
no?
course. Casey,
Yeah.
I was working with Brian when he came in, and I was standing by him the day we took this plan to the Board of Health. And Gary Russell in the Board of Health said he wouldn't approve it if it were to get any closer than that 4 feet. So I did want to make that comment.
Okay.
Because we send all of the building permits to the Board of Health to approve the clearance. And Gary helped him scale this and said that he'd be comfortable with this, and that's why he went for the variance. Because he didn't want it any closer than that 4 feet to the leaching field.
Is that a rule or is that?
You have someone from the.
I know you can't have a residence on top of a septic system.
Not necessarily, you don't need you can.
Yeah.
You need a variance from the Board of Health in order to do that.
Go ahead.
Speak freely, Brian?
Yeah.
We could put a septic system, if it's on piers or piles, there's no setbacks to a leaching field at all. As long as there's access to it, you can put the leaching field can go over the shed, underneath the shed.
So the shed can be on top of it?
Correct, yes. As long as there's no penetration through the footings, but sometimes you can go between the chambers or the rows of leaching, you can have the footings down between them, do it all the time.
Okay.
So that's leaching chambers too.
Correct.
So that's gonna be sturdier than a field.
Correct.
You can go on top.
So how does that land him with the health department? They said they weren't gonna do it according to Casey. and-
It's already in the ground.
Already there, the septic system, then it just has to build the shed. Is the shed there or not?
There's no
This
shed.
is, in my opinion, I just wanted to say that I was standing next to the applicant at that time, that's all.
Okay. So we can leave it open and you can go back and get clarification, or we can ask Gary to okay?
Okay.
And then we'll let you know if we have to just go in
All right,
you can withdraw without prejudice. All right?
sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll continue on 2345 Brian Callahan, 29 Walnut Ave.
Second.
July 11th. All in favor?
Ryan Sullivan, aye?
Brian Murphy, aye.
Are you telling that?
Well, after you.
All right, so now we have Mark Kemp. Petitioner is seeking a special permit under 305 1109 of the Marshfield Municipal Code to create 1,000 square foot, two-bedroom accessory apartment over the existing two-car garage on the property located at 71 Warren Avenue, which is further identified on the assessment maps in parcel G160834A, and is located in the R1 zoning district. Go ahead, name and address for the record.
Mark Kemp, 189 Summer Street, Marshfield. I'm the contractor for these guys. They want to put a accessory apartment over an existing garage for their daughter and granddaughter. They'll be staying in the house, they'll be living in the house also, so it's just pretty straightforward.
Casey, do you have the plans on that, or? So do we have any questions on the board here?
I have no questions.
I'm good.
Almost set. Any questions from the audience on this? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Name
hi.
and address for the record.
Sure, Mike Solomita, 80 Warren, right next door.
gonna come up to,
What's that?
it's gonna come up to what?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I think Mike, that's why.
What's your address? I'm sorry.
881 Warren. No objections at all to the project, just curious. I haven't seen the plans or anything, so. Assume the height is going up twice because it's on top of the garage, so is it 2 stories on top of the garage?
It's not going up any higher than the existing roof line now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just going back to get the full 1,000?
Yes.
Okay. And then, part of the reason why we bought was it's a cul-de-sac, very private. Is there any expected changes in the boundary, the privacy, the buffer between the homes?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. And then, do you have to do anything to the septic
No.
as far as?
No, we're eliminating a bedroom in the house
Mhm.
to make up for the bedrooms.
So no changes there that would affect the side? Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing that there's none. Move that we close 2346 Mark Kent, 75 Warren Avenue. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye. Gordon Ramsay, aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye?
Brian Murphy, aye.
Right, okay.
Mark Cohen,
Thank you. I move that we approve 2346. I move that the board vote to grant petitioner's request for a special permit subject to the conditions, the certificate of occupancy, and,
Brian, I put the mandatory conditions in that
oh,
section.
okay,
Those are the ones that are in the bylaw.
right.
One accessory apartment goes A through H.
Okay, so the proposed apartment must comply with the mandatory conditions of the bylaw. 1 accessory apartment per lot, limited to 1 bedroom, must comply with the Board of Health rules and regulations, must be equipped with water conservation devices including low flow shower heads and water efficient toilets. Principal dwelling must be occupied by the owner as a primary residence. Principal dwelling and accessory apartment cannot be sold, otherwise conveyed or transferred separately from the other. Special permit terminated upon sale of the property and transfer of title of the dwelling. Not later than January 31 of each of the following issuance of a special permit for an accessory apartment, the owner has to recertify the building with the building commissioner. And then we need an engineer or a survey stamp on the plan that was missing. And the board has authority to enforce the conditions, meaning the building permit and certificate of occupancy. To construct and use an accessory apartment with a deck on the property located at 75 Warren Ave, as shown on the architectural plans by Custom Home Design dated May 21st, 2023, 6 pages showing existing and proposed conditions, and plot plan for proposed additional by Great Consulting LLC dated October 25th, 2021. The petitioner has demonstrated that they meet the criteria for a special permit set forth in section 305.1109 of the zoning map. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye. Gordon Ramsay, aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye?
Brian Murphy, aye.
Right, okay.
Mark Cohen, aye.
All right, thank you.
Great, thank you. Take care. Thanks.
Lynn Ford,
How you doing?
2347 Lynn A. Ford.
Oh, yeah.
Petitioner seeking a special permit under 305 1012 of the municipal code to construct a 6x6 two-story bump out and an approximate 27 by 5 and 7 by 5 dormer on the rear of the dwelling at 9 foot 6 by 15 foot 6 decks with the rear egress staircase and special permit under 305 create an approximate 900 square foot accessory apartment located at 40 Main Street, which is further identified in the assessor's map located on parcel G080532 and located in the B2 zone district. Name and address for the record.
Lynn Ford, 40 years old.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So the idea is to, so just a little background. The upstairs, there's no throughway, there's no pass-through rather from the front of the house to the back of the house. So this is to that bump out is to fix the flaw so that I can get from the front of the house to the back of the house. It's like it's two rectangles. When they built the house, there's just a little pilot door to get through. So this bump out would allow for a standard sized doorway and another standard sized doorway and a little land to get through. And then we're adding a deck and a staircase just for the egress. And the idea is, yes, to create an accessory apartment, one bedroom.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. And we're working the house.
Be safer.
Anything from the audience? Anything from the online audience? I move that we close 2347 Lindsworth, 40 Main Street. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Brian Sullivan, aye?
Brian Murphy, aye.
Heidi Coleman.
Mark Coleman, aye.
Mark?
Mark Coleman, aye.
Thank you. And I move that we approve 2347 Lindsworth, 40 Main Street. Thank you.
And that it meets A through H?
We need through H. And grant, I move that the board vote to grant petition request for special permit, subject to conditions, A through H, and building permit, certified engineer. And occupancy permit.
I can't hear because the air conditioner came on, I apologize. So when you, I can't hear because the air conditioner came on. So when you do the conditions,
We adopted them A through
A
H.
through H, I got that.
All right. And I move that the mumbling of the board member, that the board grant the petitioner's request for a special permit, subject to the conditions A through H, and a building permit, occupancy permit, and certified electric.
Second.
Well, I get it from there. To construct a 6x6 two-story bump out and an approximate 27'5" by 7'5" dormer at the rear of the dwelling, 9'6" by 15" decks with egress staircase, and to create an approximate 900 square foot accessory apartment on the property located at 40 Main Street, shown on an architectural plan by, anyone know?
What's that?
Who the plans?
Jamie Winkler, who works
Jamie
for...
Winkler, and dated, 10 pages, I can't read it. Shows proposed condition and on a compliant plan showing existing setbacks to be provided, since the petitioner has demonstrated that she meets criteria for a special permit set forth in section 305, 11 of the zoning bylaw. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Larry Keane,
Brian Sullivan, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Heidi Coleman.
Steve Feeney, aye.
Mark?
Mark Coleman, aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Due to the heat, we will be in the factory.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. I would have too. In this heat. I'm sweating. All right, Daniel Burkhart.
Yes, sir.
Daniel Burkhart, petitioner seeking a special permit under 305-504, 305-1010 of the Marshfield Municipal Code. Site plan approval on the 305-402. Construct a 180-foot by 80-foot commercial building consisting of office and warehouse space on the property located at lot 260 Progress Way, which is further identified on the assessor's maps on parcel D09-109E and is located in the I-1 zoning district. Name and address for the record.
Address? Best I know, 260, lot 260, Progress Way.
Oh, that's the neighborhood, 260, not 260?
Yeah.
260.
No. 260.
We don't know what number you want to pick, or can I?
for the applicant, Gregory Morse, registered engineer, Morse Engineering. What puts us before the board tonight is a request for a site plan approval as well as special permits in accordance with section 5.04 and 10.10 and 12.02 of the bylaw. The proposal here is to construct a 180-foot by 80-foot commercial warehouse and office space at lot 26O Progress Way. The existing site I've depicted on the plans here for the online version would be best viewed on page 2 of the plan set. It's approximately 2 acres in size, 87,735 square feet. It's entirely upland land area. There is no floodplain. There are no aquifer districts on this. There's no well protection districts, no wetlands on the property. The lot right now is currently vacant. It's been utilized as a temporary drainage basin as part of the PMUD development. It's located in the I-1 zoning district. It's vacant entirely. The abutters are predominantly vacant, except a commercial building directly across the street from us, which is a roofing company, and directly behind the property, which is the ball fields that are constructed on the town of Marshfield land. This portion of Progress Way has been built up to the frontage of this lot. However, there was a modification to that subdivision which extended the road and proposed a cul-de-sac to be built. That cul-de-sac is what you see on the bottom right side of my plan set. That cul-de-sac has not been built yet, but it has been fully permitted with the planning board, and surety is in place to make sure that that cul-de-sac does get built. What puts us here is this lot 26O. The proposed use on this lot would be used by the applicant, Dan Burkhardt, and his company, Burkhardt Movers. They're a business that's been around since 1888. They're looking at relocating their business from Henry to the town of Marshfield. They're in the moving and storage business for furniture and houses. The building's 180 feet by 80 feet. We submitted architectural plans. It's a single story in height. It contains a small office. The office is approximately 1,230 square feet. The remainder of the building is warehouse space. Right now, storage pods get dropped off at people's houses. They get filled up with furniture, and this allows a space for those storage pods to be held in a controlled environment, secure, air-conditioned, heated, until the move is completed to the new location. The main entrance to the building is at the front right corner of the proposed building. That would be the entrance into the office portion. We have an entrance on the back, which would be an overhead door as well as a loading bay off the back of the building. And off the left-hand side of the building, again, an overhead garage door. We'd be using a forklift to bring storage pods in and out of the building itself. Supporting the building is the parking area, and on sheet 3 of the plan set is our complete zoning table. The building obviously complies with all zoning setbacks, front, rear, and side. The parking lot accommodates 20 parking spaces where the bylaw requires 18. I'd add 2 of those are ADA accessible spaces. There's access around the entirety of the building for access by the applicant as well as for fire personnel. There's fenced dumpsters behind the building and enclosures. There's open lawn space and landscape space, which makes up for 40% of the lot. In the I-1 zoning district, you have a requirement that 30% of the lot be kept as green space. We're proposing 40%. I've highlighted those areas in green. Again, those would be landscape or lawn surfaces. Utilities would all be accessed off of Progress Way. We have access to gas and water service. It would be a fully sprinklered building. An on-site septic system would be located in the front yard. Drainage from the site is a series of catch basins on the property, which then direct flow to Progress Way. The Progress Way subdivision modification accounted for the development of these lots in its drainage calculations. We come in under the allowed impervious coverage on this lot. The business is generally a daytime business during the week. That would be located here. It's not a nighttime business. It's not a weekend business. Minimal access for public. It's really employees coming to get their moving van, go out to the sites, and then bring stuff back to the site. relatively low noise, low traffic, low water and sewer consumption on the site. We felt it was worthy of a special permit, looking to locate this business in Marshfield. Turn it over to you. So do we have any questions from the board?
Hours of operation?
I come in at 7:30 and I'll send my crews out, and then if I hit the mark right, they'll be back by 5 or 6, but I'm not leaving your house till the house is all set up. Some days we come home at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Or I'll leave to beat the traffic. Well, I try to beat the traffic at 5:30.
Pretty safe to say, no nights, no weekends, no holidays.
I come in on Saturdays, that's my rescue day. If you had a house move and something fell apart in the week, Saturdays I pick up the pieces. Sunday I'm off.
So not a lot of retail traffic, customers coming down to your location.
We don't have, most people are the turnkey types.
Yeah.
When they hire us, they just want us to do the move, touch nothing, and they don't come visit.
So you've got to
Not like, they pick up the phone and say, come get it, and then they pick up the phone and say, I needed that. So,
So you pretty much got it down pat over the last 100 years, right?
a little bit, yeah.
So it's encouraging when you see a business like this want to relocate to Marshfield, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there on-site truck storage?
Yeah, in the back. They,
So outside, not?
Yes, outside. They gave us, 5 slots for 5 straight trucks. 2 slots for 2 trailers in the back corner. That's all I operate. If I got any bigger, I go nuts. So my 20-man company is all you're gonna see. I'm not gonna grow.
Lighting, anything? Lighting on it?
So the lighting is going to be attached to the building itself. It's just down lighting around the perimeter of the building.
Yeah, to echo what Larry said, I think it's great for Marshfield that you want to relocate your business to Marshfield. It's good for the town, and we appreciate it.
And we're down in this part, so it's good.
Is the lot fenced?
It is not fenced. All of the, all of the storage containers will be inside of the building. The only thing exterior is going to be the storage of the trucks overnight.
Security, do you want anything like that, like security alarm systems or anything?
Yeah, we'll get up to speed on that. The building I'm leasing has that services, so this one I want, I'll have my own cameras and stuff.
Bob, do you have any recommendations?
No, the only thing I mentioned in my thing was, did you want to have the drainage checked? I mean, I know that this has been a common scheme of drainage there. I hear what Mr. Morris is saying. I do think that there were, I just don't know how much of every lot could be developed without exceeding the capacity down there.
Ron has some comments and plan.
I saw those. So, Casey, do you have those comments?
Let me look, just a moment.
Yeah, they should be in low progress way.
Behind the curtain.
Town engineer.
I have the comments if you want me to read them.
Yeah.
With respect to 175,
That's the other one.
that's the other one, progress right. Second paragraph, Commerce Way?
Yeah, he put comments instead of progress.
Okay. So is this 260?
It's 260 progress way.
All right, with regard to 260 Commerce Way, which he misidentified, the applicant should obtain easements for the right to discharge to the detention basin and utilize the overflow pipe and drainage pipe located within the land of Progress Way The calculations provided do not include flow conditions of the overflow pipe from off-site and the effects of discharging to the overflow pipe. The engineer should comment on whether the connection to the off-site overflow pipe will surcharge the drainage system for 260 progress or in any way affect the performance and cause a need to increase the size of the off-site overflow pipe. The applicant has not commented on whether there is adequate pretreatment of stormwater before discharging to the detention basin.
Sure, so if I may, drainage is obviously something we look at very highly on a project like this. Where this had already gone through the subdivision modification with the planning board, there's a rather extensive drainage report that has been done on this whole area, which included this lot. I reached out to the engineer that did that report, that was Grady Consulting on the subdivision. They included on this lot up to 72% of the lot being impervious land surface and tying into the drainage system. Where proposal is 59.6% impervious, so we're under that allowed amount under that subdivision. Not having spoken to the town engineer since he wrote this comment here, I don't know if he reviewed or remembered that this was already accounted for in the previous subdivision filing. So I'd be glad to go over this with him, but I'm more than confident, I have checked it with the engineer that did the road design, that this lot was entirely accounted for in that design.
Go ahead.
I'm Kevin Grady from Grady Consulting, and Greg's referring to our analysis of the subdivision design. Stenbeck and Taylor did the original overall development. When we did the subdivision, the planning board had us reanalyze everything that they had done, and the overall analysis does allow for 70% impervious coverage on each and every lot. So the drainage basin can handle that. The other thing I'm not sure of is the piping networks, because I haven't seen what they did. But the overall basin is sized to handle that capacity. So what he's saying is correct.
Thank you.
So Rob, is there any reason we can't approve this with conditions?
Maybe we just want to have a condition that's subject to review of the final plans by the town engineer.
Okay.
On drainage. It sounds to me like they have the answers, they just haven't had a dialogue with Rod. And if they answered these questions, Rod would probably be satisfied. And it's solvable either way.
Do we have any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience?
Traffic mitigation.
Oh, traffic mitigation. So that's not done yet, right? So you still have to do, so we can put that in as a condition?
You can waive that.
I'd wait, there's gonna be no traffic.
You're right.
Traffic mitigation is a requirement in the subdivision approval from the planning board. So we do have to go there to satisfy that requirement. That's not, it's not your piece of the pie, it's the planning board, so we go there next.
That's an independent approval they gotta get.
If he's asking for it. So do we have anything from the audience? Audience online? Seems that there's none.
I just have one question, Mr. Chairman. So how many trips a day would this?
20
approximately.
20 employees,
Yeah.
come in once and go home once.
What about the pods coming in? I mean, they come in,
They are
get one pod and come
in and
back?
out of the building to transfer on the truck.
Yeah. But I mean, each employee makes one trip a day?
Yes.
So 20 trips?
If not two, at the most.
So 20 to 40 trips?
Yeah, so well, no. There'll be 3 men in the truck. The 5 trucks that I run, I have 7, but I run 5, just so I have backup. And those trucks will go out once and come back also. So 20 employees cars,
Oh, I see.
I have 5 trucks. 1 out, 1 back, possibly 2 or 3 others.
With respect to the hours of operation, so it could be a nightly thing, conceivably, right?
Yeah, come home at
Especially
night.
given what's happening.
Yeah. Could be, but selling them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just getting an idea for a lot of folks up there with that whole truck.
Yeah, well, my father used to keep us out late. I'm doing better than him.
Yeah.
My employees-
Geez, I'm glad it was your father, because I thought you were, you know, you had started the company back then. No, I wasn't insinuating.
That's okay. I was pretty good for 140.
No, you do.
This location too is closer to the Enterprise Drive exit and access. We're not going through the residential portion, even past any residences with this project.
Well, the concerns with the neighbors up there have been traffic and everything else appears to be a very low impact for that area.
Plus they don't want areas.
And their customers are nice, so I'm gonna do this when I see it.
All right, so, once again, 2348, Daniel Burkhardt. Is it 260 or what is it?
260.
260 Progress Way. Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Larry King, aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Steve Feeney, aye.
Mark?
Mark Corwin, aye.
Thank you. So now I move that the board vote to grant the petitioner's request for a special permit and site plan approval, subject to the conditions of all of these.
You just have the issue raised by Mr. Parkagino,
Drainage
discussed and reviewed.
in the trips.
Well, then they have to comply with any subdivision requirements regarding traffic mitigation of the planning board.
What Bob said. And then, I need, obviously, site plan, we need a occupancy permit and a building permit. And will we need anything else? I can't think of anything. Based on the finding that the proposed use is shown on the site plan meets the special permit criteria of section 1010 and the performance standards and design standards set forth in section 1222 of the bylaw. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Larry King, aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Steve Feeney, aye.
Mark?
Mark Corwin, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Good luck.
2348 Daniel Burkhardt. Oh, sorry, you. 2349 Dave Chris.
Thanks for coming.
2333.
Glad I could help.
Yeah,
You hanging out in work?
I am.
Yeah, we'll see. Thanks, Brad.
Good luck. Hello.
It's 2349 Dave Crest, the petitioner seeking a variance on 305 to Marshfield Municipal Code for relief from 305-602, table of dimensional and density regulations for setbacks, maximum building area, and impervious cover on special permit under 305-1012, to construct an approximate 250 square foot addition and a 7-foot by 22-foot deck on the property located at 422 Ferry Street, which is further identified on the assessment maps as being on parcel G12-2704 and is located in the R1 zoning district. Go ahead, name and address for the record.
Good evening, my name is Nicholas Ling, from Brady Consulting. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Prest. So we have a, you can't see underneath, I'm going to start with underneath the colored overlay, because they actually already have a wraparound deck. I'm not sure if you can see that in some of the photos that I provided. So they have a wraparound deck there right now. They're looking to demolish that and expand their dwelling. It's about 200 square feet worth of enclosed dwelling they're looking to add. And then they're going to reconstruct a portion of that deck, which is their access from down in their driveway along Ferry Street there. They're also looking to put some more access stairwells on the other side of their property. They're going to be expanding a little bit on the second floor, and that will be their access to that from that side of the house. We have 2 variance requests and 2 special permit requests filed for this project. This variances are for building area and for impervious cover, and the special permits are for setbacks, which are related to the stairwells. None of the enclosed structure that is proposed infringes on any of the dimensional setbacks. It's just area requirements that we'll looking for relief from. And the stairwells don't actually, the closest point is on Ferry Street, about 3 feet off the lot line of Ferry Street. The stairwell there will be about 4 feet further off, so we're not infringing on that setback in that direction. Stop there. Answer any questions you have?
So you're not looking for any dimensional variances for the structure, it's just the setback variance for the steps?
For the steps, for the access points, that's correct.
And then I'm sorry, but what's the difference between the lot coverage maximum is?
So the lot coverage maximum is 15, is already at 16.4, and we're moving up to 19.1.
And so, is this a pre-existing non-conforming? It's a pre-existing non-conforming structure, right?
And yes, and a pre-existing non-conforming lot. This is the Marshfield Estate subdivision. It's all 50 by 100 lots.
So, Bob, wouldn't they be eligible for a special permit to amend or expand a pre-existing non-conforming structure and not need the variance?
I was
Be a
confused.
special permit.
I was confused. I didn't know whether the front parcel belonged to them or not. Because there's a lot line there.
Where do you
Around
mean front parcel?
Ferry Street?
Ferry Street? Ferry Street is not, does not have a normal looking layout in this area. Ferry Street actually widens as it moves south in this area.
But do they own that lot?
No, that is the Ferry Street layout.
Oh.
And the lot, what you see to the east of that, what he just clicked on was Ferry Street. To the east of that.
I see what you're saying. You know, it's funny because you hardly ever see a roadway that looks like that.
Yeah.
I actually was trying to figure out who owned that.
It's a lot of
Because I couldn't
wasted
tell on the
land.
plan.
It took us a lot of survey work to figure it out.
Sorry. I mean, the way I see it is that we could grant a special permit, we don't need to grant a variance.
If you're already within the front yard setback, yeah, you're right. You can grant it as a special permit. I was more concerned with the Water Resource Protection District. Because I know that applies to any type of alteration of any type of structure in the Water Resource Protection District tonight.
Is that where the percentage comes from?
The impervious cover, yes.
It's only 15% growth. Is that because of water resource?
That's, yep, that's from the water resource overlay. That's not for the R1 zoning district at all. And it just so happens that these lots are all very, very small.
So do we have to give a variance for the 6%?
Well, if they're already over the maximum impervious coverage in the water resource,
we don't need-
you can also give them a special permit for that.
So they don't need acres.
You know, the planning board would tell you never to grant that because it's a water resource district and things like that, but it's your call.
No, that's a special permit, that's not a variance.
It is a special permit though.
Right.
It's not a variance.
Okay. All right, so we understand that. So do we have anything from the board on this? Audience? Audience online? Seeing there isn't. Move to close 2349 Day request for 23 Ferry Street. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye?
Brian Murphy, aye.
Steve Feeney, aye.
Mark
Coleman, aye.
All right, move that we approve 2349 Day request for 23 Ferry Street. And move that the board vote to grant petitioner's request for a special permit, subject to the conditions of building permit, site plan, certified plot plan, and occupancy permit.
And whatever statutory conditions that apply to special permits in the Water Resource Authority, or Water Resource Protection District. There might be a couple of, like, nitrogen loading things.
You got that here? And petitions based on finding the proposed additions, porch, deck, and stairs shown on the architectural plans, revised site plans dated May 23 meets the special permit criteria of section 1012. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye. Corbin, aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye?
Brian Murphy, aye.
Steve Feeny, aye.
Mark Coleman, aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brian, still on variance.
Denied variance is
The
moved.
variance is moved. So the variance
Denied without prejudice
denied
is
without
moved.
prejudice. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Corbin, aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye?
Brian Murphy, aye.
Steve Feeny, aye.
Mark Coleman, aye.
Thank you. All right, 2350 Paul Armstrong. Petitioner seeking site plan approval in accordance with 305. This one. Marshfield, proposed to construct a 700 square foot commercial building consisting of office and warehouse space on property located at 175 Commerce Way, which is further identified on the assessment maps on portion of parcel P09, Go ahead, name and address for the record.
Kevin Grady from Grady Consulting, representing the applicant, 175 Commerce Way, LLC. The project is for the construction of an office warehouse, social pile driving. Paul Armstrong is the owner. The site's located in the I-1 zoning district. We're proposing allowed use, which is construction industry, including suppliers. I don't know if you're familiar with social pile driving. We do a lot of dock piles, house piles, and worked on numerous projects in Marshfield and all of the South Shore, down to Cape Cod, etc. The applicant is proposing the construction of a 7,200 square foot building. I inadvertently put 7,400 everywhere. That was an error on my part, but they're just looking for 7,200. Very similar to the previous project that Morse Engineering was describing. This is an adjacent lot to that. So the existing property is vacant land. It's basically been a staging area for the overall Commerce Way development for quite some time. There's no wetlands near the site. There's no flood zone, and it's outside any zone 2 delineations. The site plan as laid out conforms to the dimensional setback requirements. The existing lot is 55,700 plus or minus square feet. The required area is 40,000 square feet. As I indicated, we meet all the required setbacks as far as coverage goes. We're just over the required open space, which is 30%, or 30.1. This lot, as opposed to the previous lot that was before us, that lot was almost 2 acres. So this one's just a little over an acre. So there's not as much space to leave more green space. But we do comply with the requirement. As far as parking goes, we need 1 space per 1,000 square feet. Basically, we need 7 spaces, and we're proposing 8. The site does include handicap accessibility. The building's a metal building. It's basically an open floor plan for pile rigs and all of Paul's fun toys that he manufactures and assembles in his building. Basically, most of the equipment will be kept inside. There's outside storage for piles, etc. That will be located in the rear of the property. Basically, this highlight I'm showing here, that's a gravel area. This area in the front is proposed to be paved. The utilities include town water, underground electric, natural gas. We have on-site septic that's been designed and approved by the Board of Health. The site plan also includes a garage floor drain, so basically a tight holding tank for any oils, grease, gas that may spill in your typical commercial garage. That's located in the rear. We're proposing a dumpster also in the rear about here. The site plan calls for raised bed plantings along the frontage to help screen the residences and across the way, and also general traffic. It is an industrial zone, it's an industrial type use. Is proposing to fence in the entire perimeter, here to here. Obviously, everything you see in green will be open space, green space. The stormwater consists of deep sump catch basins that are located along this edge of pavement here. Water enters those catch basins and then goes into a large sediment forebay before going over into the infiltration basin. So this site does include 44% pre-treatment in the stormwater, so it gets double treated before getting over to the infiltration basin, which is in line with the drainage design. The lighting that we have included in the site plan is also wall packs, downcast lighting. I believe we have 3 on each of the side walls and 1 on the gables, on the gable ends. Let's see. The site basically all slopes from this side to that side. If you come down Commerce Way, everything slopes down toward the drainage basin. We've looked at the grading and the site, we've balanced the site pretty well, I believe. The hours of operation, basically 7 to 7. Paul loves to work, but he will do that inside and won't be bothering the neighbors if it's beyond work hours, weekends, etc. There won't be any operation overnight or anything. As far as traffic goes, probably a max of 20 trips a day, 10 in, 10 out, 20 total. How many employees?
Which was 4 employees.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of traffic flow. And this has already been settled with the planning board. We'll take care of all the traffic mitigation.
I've written a narrative describing how we meet the performance standards for site plan approval. And I'll be happy to take any questions regarding those.
Any questions on the board?
So again, I go by your location as you come on the other 40 Pit Road, it's all neat, orderly, clean, looks good. Low traffic impact on the location.
Any questions?
You want to say, you leasing it property or you buying it?
I'm buying it.
You buying it.
I think it's the whole reason that we have the industrial park is to try to keep Marshfield businesses in Marshfield. So I think it's a perfect use of the property.
Your big trucks, is that what you're,
Yes, the heavy equipment is.
and they'll be going out, like, not to the residential?
No, we always will be going out the enterprise. It's not worth, nothing for you to go up that way at all.
Anything from the audience? Anything from the audience online? Bob, you have anything there? No. All right, I move that we close 2350 Paul Armstrong, 175 Commerce Way, Road, second. All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Torres, yeah.
Brian Sullivan, aye?
Ryan Murphy, aye.
Frank Cone,
Steve Feeney, aye.
And-
Mark Coleman, aye.
Thanks, Mark. And I move that the board grant the request for 2350 Paul Armstrong, 175 Commerce Way. Petitioner's request for site plan approval, subject to conditions as built, building permit, and have to put in that, go down with the review from the board of order, right? Revised site.
Can't hear you.
Oh, mama. I don't have to have all that stuff from Rob, right, because that's already been addressed.
It has.
So revised site.
This is a
plan.
very different circumstance. It's a smaller building on a only slightly smaller lot, so.
Brian, I have a question. Okay, certificate of occupancy,
I did. Certificate of occupancy.
just checking.
Revised site plan meets the special permits criteria of section 1010 of the performance standards and design standards set forth in section 1222 of the bylaw. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye?
Brian Murphy, aye.
Right, aye.
Steve Feeney, aye.
Cool, night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
20,
But is anybody here for Beach Street?
my ass really.
Didn't know that.
2351 Susan Larkin. Petitioner seeking a special permit 305-1012 of the Marshfield Municipal Code to raise the existing house and construct a new 12-foot by 32-foot lawn on the same footprint of property located at 429 Moraine Street, which is further identified on the assessor's maps as being parcel H050119, is located in the R1 zoning district. Name and address for the record.
My name is Richard Stimont, Finbeck and Taylor, special land surveyor. As you stated, this is an existing property at 429 Marine Street. This property has multiple dwellings on it. And what the applicant is proposing with this special permit application is to replace what I'm calling the second house, which is at the rear of that structure there. As you can see, it's not in greatest shape, but what they're proposing is to demolish that existing home and replace it within this very similar footprint. Certainly not expanding beyond it, but it's we're increasing the setback from the rear slightly. That's what they're hoping to do, is demolish that place and replace it with a new structure with a small patio in the rear. Matching or improving on the existing setbacks that it has. And it does conform to, obviously, the front and one of the sides, but we are aware that it's only 2.8 feet off of the barn that's there. Not very close, but pre-existing, they hope to replace it right where it is. And it's essentially what we're hoping to do with this application.
Does the board have any questions?
Looks like you need it.
How old is that structure?
The assessors records say 1925. I didn't do any deep research into it. That's what I have listed, what they have listed at 25. I suspect it's, these portions of it could be considerably older than that, but
So we'll need
that's what it says.
The storage already,
Oh, I viewed it.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so any questions from the audience? Online audience? Anyone have anything to add, Will?
No, I didn't know whether they had a demo permit from the historical commission. I think this was part of the McKee property, Frank McKee's property.
Yeah.
He divided up his farm, and I think these were one of the lots.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we close 2351 Susan Larkin, 429 Main Street, Moraine Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye?
Brian Murphy, aye.
Heidi Tommy, aye.
Steve Feeney, aye.
Thank you. Make a motion that we approve 2351 Susan Larkin, 429 Main Street. And I move that the board vote to grant the petitioner's request for a special permit subject to the conditions, an as-built certificate of occupancy and a building permit. To raise the existing house 12-foot 4 by 31-foot 5 and construct a new 12-foot by 32-foot dwelling on the same footprint on the property located at 429 Moraine Street, as shown on architectural plans by Ward Two architects dated October 16th, 2020, 3 pages showing layout, interior, and one elevation, and a building location plan dated May 26, 2023 by Stemick and Taylor Incorporated, Richard Savant, PLS, since the property proposed works on plans and described in the filings meets the criteria set forth in section 305, 10, 12 of the zoning bylaw. Do I have a second?
Do you need an addendum or is that part of
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
stuff?
Second.
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Roman's aye.
Brian Sullivan?
Murphy, aye.
Steve Feeney, aye.
Ron Corwin, aye.
All right, thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
2352 Kevin Power.
Actually have the chit chat.
That's cool. Thanks so much.
Conditioner is seeking a special permit under 305-902 of Marshfield Municipal Code. Construct an 80-foot by 34-foot replacement home, 10-foot by 50-foot porch on the property located at 365 Ocean Street, which is further identified on the assessor's maps as being on parcel M08-35-01, located in the R3 zoning district. Name and address for
Richard Savant with Stemick and Taylor.
Kevin Powell, 365 Ocean Street.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we prepared this plan with the power of the applicant on this one. You can see there's, I'm sure you're familiar with the structure at 365 Ocean Street. Fortunately, it's in pretty tough condition. We were looking at restoring the home, but it's just too far gone. So here we are with a proposal to demolish the existing house and replace it with a new one. Mr. Powers worked with the Historical Commission on this one also. Has gone through that process. There are some proposed architectural features that are going to match the existing. Essentially, we're going to demolish the existing home and the non-conforming home, it's quite non-conforming actually, and propose a slightly smaller new structure on the lot. The existing home is in the flood zone. We're going to be moving it back further off the street, off Ocean Street, to remove it from the AO flood zone that it's in, and construct a new home. It matches or increases all of the existing setbacks on the property. We I haven't seen the site plan, but I just want to make sure that we submitted a revised plan after the initial submittal. And that's not it. Well, we slightly moved the house, basically. It's still in compliance, either matching or improving on the setback. That's the revised plan. We moved it slightly closer to the street just to help with the house alignments with the other on the street aesthetically. Initially it was back a little bit. And it didn't, yeah, it's a perfect case. You can see it, how it slid there a little bit. It didn't look right lining up with the other structures along the street, so Kevin decided, and we kind of all agreed that we slid it as best we could. So that is the correct plan, the final plan. That's what we're hoping to do with this project. Get a new structure there, get it out of the flood zone.
Any questions from the board?
This is a great Amelia statement.
I know, I'm so sad to see it go, but I'm happy to.
Turn it into a
I
power.
were over there on Saturday, they took some of the.
Everybody knows this piece of property.
Yeah.
Good place to hang out as a kid.
Yeah.
Anything from the audience on this? Go ahead.
Good evening. My name's Steve Wesley. We live at the house next door, 369, and we're hopefully going to get approval to get this done. He's been working hard at it, and the house is in terrible shape. We went to the historic area. It should be taken down soon, and a new house put up safely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Online audience? Saying that there isn't any. Move to close 2352 Kevin Power, 365 Ocean Street.
Second?
I met with Mr. Power some months back when they were dealing with historical, and he complied with everything that they could ask for, so he's in good shape.
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Roman's aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Heidi Kelly, aye.
Steve Feeny, aye.
Mark Corwin, aye.
I move to approve 2352 Kevin Power, 365 Ocean Street. Move that the board vote to grant petitioner's request for a special permit subject to conditions. As-built, occupancy permit, and building permit. To raise the existing house and construct an 80-foot by 34-foot replacement home with a 10-foot by 50-foot porch on the property located at 365 Ocean Street, as shown on the architectural plans dated 4/7/22 by Herzog Architecture. 7 pages revised building location plan by Stemick and Taylor. Richardson PLS dated May 23rd, 2023. Revised June 21st, 2023. To move the house 3 feet closer to the Ocean Street, since the proposed work shown on the plans described in the filings meets the criteria set forth in section 305-902 of the zoning bylaw. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye.
Brian Murphy, aye.
Steve Feeny, aye.
Mark Corwin, aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, now we have 2353 J. Stephen Groveland. Petitioner is seeking a variance in accordance with 305 Marshfield Municipal Code, relief from 305 608, 305 and any other relief. The Board of Appeals deems necessary to construct a single-family dwelling rear of the property located at 11 Forest Street, which is further identified on the assessment maps as being on parcel D160234, located in the R1 zone district. Go ahead, name and address for the record.
Okay, so the petitioner, Steve Yorkman, 861 Main Street, Norwell, is my home address. What we have is a pre-existing non-conforming lot, and there is an existing dwelling that's pretty dilapidated in front of the property. It's been semi-demolished, and unfortunately the builder that was involved is no longer with us, so the property is being resold. And we would like to be able to place a new house out in the back, basically in a central location to keep it as far away from the property lines as we can, as shown on the plan. The original plan that came into you guys, there was a line on the back of the property that had a 20-foot setback. It was an engineer's mistake. It said 40 feet on the plan, but actually showed as a 20-foot line, so we modified that today. So that was the original plan right there. You can see it follows it around, but the new plan that we sent in today shows the 40-foot setback in the back of the property. And that's pretty much the presentation.
Steve, this is a pre-existing non-conforming lot, right?
Yes.
So why can't you just get a special permit to put the house back there?
Well, there was some initial conversations with individuals in the town hall, and this was filed prior to your Juniper Road one that you had, I think it was last month or a few weeks ago, that I sat in on, and it's somewhat similar to that. So that's why, as I do a lot of these in Situate, I'll put in that I'm asking for a variance and/or any other relief that the board deems necessary. And I know in some other towns, they actually grant the applicable relief. They can grant a special permit based on that advertisement rather than a variance. If this board would do it, that's great. If you feel that it needs to be re-advertised for a technical reason, I don't think we really have a problem with that. You know, for us, it's kind of a timing issue. We'd like to try to get it done if we can, because there is other work. If the board does choose to grant this, we're going to go back and put a new septic system in, and that's going to be re-perked in the front of the house, the proposed house. Right now, it's fully approved way out in front of the existing dwelling, but we'd probably do a new leaching field out back, so it would be a gravity feed system rather than pumping it all the way out to the front. So there is some other work that we have to do. But I understand if the board wants to.
Bob, do we, if this is special permit, do we have to re-advertise?
We don't follow the rule that you have to guess at the other relief. You actually have to apply for it. So I think it'd have to be advertised for a special permit.
Then, in your opinion, this is a special permit?
Yeah, I think the lot is pre-existing non-conforming. You know, if there's still an existing house there, it doesn't comply with the lot width requirements, but it doesn't need to because it's already a building lot.
Right.
And I think they're allowed to take one down and put it up in another location.
So,
As long as it doesn't create any new non-conformities, and it doesn't.
when we open?
The next
With that,
available slot is August 8th.
August 8th.
And the filing deadline's July 11th, so it's plenty of time to file for it. But there's only one meeting in August,
Right.
one in July, so.
It's only for July.
Oh, yeah, that deadline was June 13th.
Yeah.
It's almost a month before.
Yeah. Right, so, what will we do, just
Withdraw without prejudice.
Yeah, you could withdraw it without prejudice, or you could just leave it open, you know, until then. But you just can't get beyond the 100 days.
Yeah.
Because, you know, variance you could act on within 100 days.
Okay.
But, you know, if he applies for the special permit, we're being consistent with what we've done, you know, we would be eligible for the special permit.
Right.
We're amenable to giving an extension if it's required.
Okay.
You can either withdraw, Steve, you can either withdraw it, and then it's not hanging over anybody's head, and you can apply for the special permit beyond the August date.
From a paperwork standpoint, what's easier for the board?
If you withdraw it, so that we don't have to pay attention to it.
That's fine. Is there any issues that the board sees with the proposal itself?
I just see it as a special permit.
That's why I see it.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll continue forward on the second, maybe before.
Right, so you're gonna withdraw without prejudice?
I will withdraw without prejudice.
So we just need, we can.
Yeah, Steve, just email Nancy an email withdrawal without prejudice.
Do we vote on that?
Yeah, you should accept the withdrawal without prejudice.
So, motion to accept withdrawal without prejudice, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Larry Keating, aye.
Brad Sullivan, aye.
Ryan Murphy, aye.
Nick Comey, aye.
Steve Feeney, aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
And the deadline 7/11?
7/11.
Is that it?
Can we say
So I have to
something?
open up, Michelle?
Yo, yes.
Hey, Tom Pilot, I live at 123 Highland Street, and you can see the indoor arena there, the upper left, that abuts the property. Now, what I don't see is, yeah, that's my property. There's a fire lane that goes in between the properties.
Could you give your name and address for the record again?
Tom Pilot, P-I-L-A-T, 123 Highland.
Thank you.
So I guess my question is there's a fire lane, it used to be called Lincoln Davies Way, and it abuts, it comes through my property in Collins, intersects the property, it's about, I don't know, 6 feet wide, and then it exits onto Forest Street. Is that taken into consideration, you know, in any of these plans?
Would you like me to respond to that?
Yeah, sure.
And we talked about this quickly. At the very front of this property, on the westerlymost portion of Forest Street, the frontage for this lot is about 253 feet. The beginning of that fire lane goes in across that frontage, and then it is located on what used to be the Lopes property, which is to the west of us. And I haven't walked it myself, but based on the survey plan that was done in 1974, it shows the old cart path, and it then continues on to a 6-acre vacant parcel that's to the west of us, and it does go up. This plan actually shows, which is a little bit different, this plan shows the lane being on its own property that was owned now formerly by Alice Homes, which is the other abutter's piece of property. So, but this is an older title, I don't know whether it got sold or not, but that clearly is not on our property, other than just up at the front. And there's no proposal to do anything with that, it's way off to the side. This is just gonna have a driveway coming in probably approximately where the existing dwelling is located.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Not really, but the other question I had is location of the property. Does he have definitive plans of where it is being located?
To be honest with you, we closed this and he put it in, so we're gonna rehear this again as a
Okay.
special permit, so that would be the appropriate time to ask these questions.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Brian, where, the new plan showed a conforming location meeting all setbacks.
Right. So, I understand that. So, 2354 Michelle Collins, Rivers at Green Harbor. The petitioner is seeking a site plan approval in accordance with 305, 10, 12, 1202 Marshfield Municipal Code, construct an 8-foot by 74-foot and an 8-foot by 42-foot fencing and 6-foot exterior heights, 6 exterior fences on the property located at 62 Beach Street, which is further identified on the assessor's maps on portion parcel M0586 located in R3 zoning district. So we're going to move this to, when we move it to?
July 11th.
July 11th. Do I have a second?
Okay.
All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye?
Brian Murphy, aye.
Mike Collier.
Steve Feeney, aye.
Do we have anything else?
I just want to say you guys did a great job tonight. There were a lot of cases and it's 7:48.
The heat.
It only took me 5 hours to read it. And
The heat.
you guys just did that in an hour.
They keep treating me like a lobster on the heat.
It's cool down now. I just can't here.
All right,
Move to adjourn?
second. All in favor?
Larry Keane, aye.
Brian Sullivan, aye?
Brian Murphy, aye.
Mike Collier.
Steve Feeney, aye.
Mark, thanks for all your help over the years.